everyone, it's Micheline from Mix again. Hi everybody. I'm going to have to duck a bit so that I'm not going out the top of the screen there. Or maybe if I move back that might be easier. Yes. Got some of my dresses there. This particular blue one I made a while ago, but it is exactly the same ones as the previous ones. I'll go back and start again. I've just posted my video showing you the 8 dresses that I made, and if you look, you may have said, hold on a minute, she's put 9 dresses up. Well, that was number 9, that blue one, and I made that before Christmas. In fact, I probably made it September, October. Still haven't worn it. It's been hanging on the back of my bedroom door for ages, and I thought, right, I'm gonna, because it just matched the design, I put that on and showed you what that was like, and that was number 9. And the rest I've just been putting my little labels on. The rest are here, piled here. I've been putting labels on those, and then I'm going to get them hung up. I received some comments the other day from a lady who was a newbie, and I can't remember what her name is, but I'll put your name up there. And she said, whoa, she said, I didn't have a chance to see what those dresses were like that you'd made. She said, you'd done it so quickly. And I had to apologise because, yes, I did do it quickly. I was trying to get the video, the vlog uploaded ASAP, and I saw those and I thought, oh, just quickly put those together and do a little quick montage of all the dresses. And so she didn't. You could. Some of you said that. Most of you said you could see them, but on the one or two, I think you would have liked to have seen a bit more of them. So here you go. And I'll probably get them worn a bit. I've been wearing dresses and things. At the moment, I'm wearing this scarf. I'm wearing his lordship's jacket on because I'm in my little workshop and it's a bit cold. But this is my little scarf that I made, one of those scarves that I just made in the last video. And what I'll do is I'll put a link to that up there so you can have a look at it. And this is a bit of a tight dress that I'm wearing. It's actually a one. I'll stand back for you to see. Hang on. So this is the pattern, Lekala pattern, which I absolutely love Lekala because you can put in your own measurements. This is the pattern that I made. It's a V-neck with side bust panels and then a pocket that's set down. And this is the green. This is a version showing you what it's like in colour. I just thought it was lovely. See if I can then go to make it smaller. See the back rather. Yes, the back is very similar. It's got the pattern going down that is panelled, which is really nice. I didn't put a zip in. I found it was just straightforward. I could put it over my head. And the nice thing about it is that you have here, you can either choose the sizes that you want, or you can actually put your own measurements in. And I have saved sizes, which they're not listed here. But if I go and click that, then mine come up my height, my bust, my waist, my hip girth. Now the hips is what your hips measure, and that is the measurement from your waist downwards because we all have a protruding belly. And so it's basically adding a few more inches for your protruding belly. Well, I shouldn't say we all have them. Some people do. I do. And so that caters for that. And the nice thing I find is I don't have to make any, well, I can make a few minor alterations, but not as big as if I had a pattern that if I bought a big 4 pattern. So this is the one that I'm wearing. What I do want to add is that you will notice that this one has gathers along here. Well, I didn't want to put gathers in because I felt that that would accentuate the belly there. And so what I did was I left that straight, and then I formed a little pleat, a little fold in here, and I had the fold going down the side. And you'll see that when I'm wearing the dress, when I'm showing you in the next shot. I'll stand and prop you there against my box of sewing threads, embroidery threads. But it's just it's a dress that sorry, I'm limping a bit because my knee's stiff. My knee's stiff with sitting in here for so long. It's fine if I'm moving around, my knee is fine. But the minute I stop, it starts to hurt. And I keep saying to his lordship, I'm going to have to be walking around all the time to stop my knee from hurting. But anyway, this is from Lekala, a Lekala pattern to my bust measurements. And I made it, 3 or 4 years ago, and I happened to look. I'm decluttering my wardrobe as well as destashing, and I came across it, and I thought, I think I'll wear that. I'll put that on. So this is what I was wearing today. What am I doing as well? I'm just sitting here watching this, the phone, on my phone, watching videos, documentaries. I'm into murder. He keeps saying, if I get killed, they're going to look at your history of all these murders that you've been watching. I love where the police find the clues and everything, and they use the DNA. I love that. How they find a murderer and how they track them and everything. So I'm watching my documentaries while I'm doing things, and I've been pottering. I've got a lot of felt. So I'm making little hearts, little double-sided hearts like this, that I thought, these ones are small ones, just from pieces of felt that I have. And I've put a little tie at the top, a little bit of ribbon at the top, because I have plenty of ribbon. And I figured I might just make something to hang. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those done, and I've got plenty more to make. I've got loads of felt here that I'm not going to use it all up on that, but I'm just trying to. I'm sitting here pottering, just sewing and watching the documentary and thoroughly enjoying it. So this is one thing I've made. Another thing I was making was, if I can get them removed from being hidden, are these. And these, where are they? As you know, have I got all of them? No. As you know, I have a lot of felt. As I've said, I've got a lot of felt. In fact, I emptied a cupboard that I went into the cupboard. What I started off as my when I retire cupboard, and I expected to retire at 60, and I didn't retire till 70. So the stuff in the when I retire cupboard never got used. I kept filling it up with DIY stuff, things I can make, like pottery, plaster of Paris, das clay, paper cutters and all sorts, and I never got to use it. So I was looking in my cupboard this afternoon, and I came across loads of felt, so I thought, right, I'm going to use some up. But this is additional felt that I have as well. But this is what I've been making, little stars with a button, plain on one side with a little tag, and there's another one, little one, just using up what bits of felt that I had. There's the bigger one, so I've got big ones and little ones, and I'm going to make a banner with it. I thought I'd make a banner. I've got an orange one. In fact, I've got 3 orange ones, 1, 2, 3, all with different colors of felt. I've got a green and a red, and I've got 2 little ones, a blue, a turquoise, and a green. So I figured that they could be hung and made like a little banner, and I'll either give them to one of the kids or do something with it. So that's what I've just been happily sewing away like that making these. Um, I sewed around the felt with the machine. Oh, I'm onto my last machine. Every machine I've got has broken, and I keep saying to his lordship, I really must take them to get fixed. My serger is working, but I've got another serger that broke, that needs fixing. I've got a serger in a cupboard down there that needs fixing. I've got my favourite brother machine has conked out, and I'm not sure if it's making the weirdest noise, and I've got a funny feeling they're going to turn around and say that it's well worn, so I may have to buy a new machine. I've got a Janome that I took my daughter gave me back because she didn't want to have it. She didn't need it, and that one's gone. That one's not working, and I'm now I'm now, I can't think of the word. I'm now having to use one machine which I'm not happy with. It's a Singer Futura I got second hand. It's actually an embroidery machine. And I think I've made one piece of embroidery when I first got it, second hand, as I said. I got it from eBay. It did the embroidery beautifully, and then the next time I tried it, it just wouldn't work. So, and I thought I thought I'd wasted my money on it. And then I managed to get it to go. And then I decided, oh my, do I really want to be doing embroidery? I'm not really in the mood for doing embroidery. So I have this embroidery machine, and for some reason, every time I sew, it keeps beeping. I have to rethread it, and then I have to try sewing again, and it beeps. In fact, I was doing buttonholes for this shirt here, which I haven't told you about there. I was doing buttonholes for that, and every buttonhole that I did, it beeped after it had done about 5 stitches, then beeped after it did another 10, and beeped and kept beeping like, oh, I was getting so fed up, and I thought, oh, I really must get his lordship to put all my machines in the car and we'll go and get them sorted. Or maybe he's getting a new one. Not that I can afford to, but no, I think I'm going to have the new one is definitely off the cards. So I think I shall be I think I think there's a good machine repairer up in Northumberland where I actually come from, and annoyingly we've just been up there a couple of weeks ago to visit our friends Barbara and John, and I could have taken them up then and I didn't. So there is also another one in the opposite direction, so we might take them there. We've never got round to doing it, but I think I'm down to this Singer Futura now, and it's what I would say is doing my head in. It's annoying me because it's not working properly. I can't get the stitch length to work very well. I keep pressing it up to do a 4 or a 5 stitch length, and it keeps doing tiny little stitches, and it's really annoying. So I must get something done. So the only machine, I have got the Benina, the old Benina, but it doesn't do buttonholes, does it? And it doesn't do zigzags, so the Benina only does straight stitches. So I've kind of put that to one side, and I thought, right, I'm going to have to take all my machines and get them sorted. So I'm going to put some questions up here, and I'm going to answer them because people have asked me questions in various on Instagram, on other things, and I thought, well, I might put their question and then give you the answer. I thought it might be quite nice, Q&A type thing. So this is going to be coming next. It's going to be a little bit of a Q&A for you. Sorry, I've washed my hair this morning, and it's very light and fluffy and strange. So CC Tippers asked me, and this is a while ago possibly, love the dresses. Oh no, it wasn't, it was recent. Love the dresses on you, perfect. I might have to get that pattern and give it a whirl. Well, a few people have said that they couldn't get the pattern, and then somebody mentioned that there's a pattern very similar that's one of the big 4 ones, and I'll see if I can find that, and I'll put it up here to let you see. And basically you could use it's just, it's very similar to the one that I made. Another one that's very similar is the cashmere turner. I like the cashmere turner. It's an easy, straightforward one for when you're sewing with fabrics, with stretch fabrics. And so that's another good one, but I'll try and remember which to put that picture up of the one that a person recommended to me. I might actually come across it in the questions. But she said, Cece Tipper said, question for you. Every time I try and dye fabric, now you know I'm very keen on dyeing things. Um, every time I dye fabric, I always get splodges of ink in places, and am I adding too much weight? And yes, you are probably. What you have to do is, I'll show you. I've got this dress here. I'll get for you. This is one of the dresses that I made, and it was black and white, and I didn't like it, and I dyed it. I can't remember what colour I dyed it. But I can't remember what colour, but I seem to have lots of reddish tinges on it. I don't know if you can see, but there are some reddish tinges down here. Fortunately, you can't really tell on this, but I have had fabric where it has gone slightly splodgy, and the reason being, oh, there you might notice the difference there. That's a paler colour to that. It might not show up very well on here, but because of the pattern, you can't notice it very much. This particular one, I might point out as well. I had to put a seam down the front there, and I had to put a seam down the back because I didn't have enough fabric. And I'm very good at doing a bit of forgot what you people call it. I would call it cutting and fitting and using bits here and there. I don't waste fabric. I have made skirts where if I want to make a full circular skirt and I haven't had enough fabric on the corners, I have added a piece in just on that a triangle of fabric in just to add the extra. These I must point out as well, my overlocking is a different colour because I was batch sewing. I used a rainbow overlocking thread. I thought it might look quite pretty when it turns. So most of my dresses that I made had a rainbow fabric. But going back to CC Tipper's question about dyeing, you mustn't put too much fabric into your drum because if you do, I mean, when you do it, you tend to have a tendency to say, "Oh, I'll dye that, and I'll dye that, and I'll dye that fabric." This was about 5 meters that I put in. It was probably too much, which is why I got the splodgy amount, the splodgy pattern. You have to have a bit of movement so so that when it's tumbling inside the drum. And I think in America, I'm not sure if it's the same. Our drums go that way, but I think yours go that way. So with ours, when they're going that way, the water's dropping down and it's mixing. It keeps doing that and dropping down. But with yours, I don't know. If, Let me explain. Ours is going like that. Our spin tumbles goes like that. So it's kind of moving around. The fabric's moving. Now in America, there are some that go like that. I don't know if they go backwards and forwards like the old-fashioned machines we used to have, but that might not circulate as much. So you've got to if you've got to not have too much fabric in, and if you don't put too much fabric in, then you get a nice even spread about it. The other thing you've got to be careful of is when it's wet, don't hang it on a washing line, or don't throw the fabric over on the washing line so it's like that, because you might find that you have a line where the washing line has been. So I generally either peg it up or I make sure that if I lay it on a washing line, then every so often I take it off the line, move it around so that it's not being drying in the same place all the time. So that's that question. That's gone on a bit too long, hasn't it? Sorry, and if I'm not looking at there, which is what I'm supposed to be looking at, I'm looking at myself in there, which is wrong. So let's see what else. Pause. I did get a question from a Kathleen Reuter, Rueter, and I don't know how long ago this was because it was referencing an old vlog that I made. And she said, "Do you have to make any alterations to your patterns? If so, would you mention them?" And I said, "Yes, I'll try to tell you what alterations I make. Generally, the if they're if they're not Lekala patterns, which are made to my figure, I do still have to make a few adjustments with them. Maybe because my shoulders are quite narrow, I may have to shorten the sleeves here. The shoulders rather. Quite often, uh, it's the length. Because I'm only 5'1" and I have to half the pattern is wasted for me. When I cut a pattern, which is why I like Lekala, because it asks me what length I want, and I'll get a T length or just below the knee, and that just below the knee for me is right down almost halfway down my calves. But when I get these the big four, in fact, any pattern, I have to cut about that much off the bottom of the patterns on if it's a dress or something, because they're far too long for me. The same with trousers. If I do any trouser cut ones, then I've got to cut some off the bottom. Um, not oh, and the same with sleeves. I have to shorten the sleeves. I've got short arms compared with other people, and I have to shorten the sleeves. I remember, I don't know if I've already told you this story, but I was with my daughter when the kids were my grandkids were little. She invited me to the school sports day down where she lived, and we had to wait in the main entrance. And I was stood next to a mother who was beside me, and her hips were up to here. And I went, and she just went, so I was, and it wasn't until I got, I said, did you see how tall that woman was? I said, a hip foot up to my shoulders. So as I say, I'm only 5'1", and I do think yeah, I always say nice things come in little bundles, so I'm happy about that. But yes, another thing I have to sometimes do is my top half, my nape of my neck down to my waist is short, so I often have to cut another 2 or 3 inches off that. And the shape of my body, I prefer to have a slightly higher waistline than to have it going low, exactly right at the waist, because somehow or other it just doesn't, for me, it doesn't flatter me. I just like it to be raised about an inch above my waistline, and that just makes me a lot happier when I'm making the clothes. But other than that, yes, they. Oh, now look, that's turned inside. Uh, but other than that, there's not a great deal of changes that I have to make to them. Um, Gail H3048 mentioned this a while ago. Do you remember I made the Dior dress, the copy of a middle-aged minx dress that I liked, and I made it in navy blue. No, I tried it in navy blue, didn't like the shape of it, and went and made it into in black and with red buttons. That was it, the black dress with the red buttons. I'll put a link to that video up there for you as well. She said your Dior dress is fabulous. Love the red buttons and the earrings accent, because I had red earrings as well. A question: do you have success selling your fabric stash on Vinted? I'm looking to destash mine. Um, I don't. I have more success when I put Fabric Stash on. I've put a few on. Well, to be fair, let's put it this way. When I first started listing fabric on the Fabric Stash, Vinted kept pulling them off and saying you can't do it. You're not allowed to sell fabric. And I kept thinking, what? I can't sell fabric. I could sell tablecloths, I could sell linens, I could sell anything, furnishings, but it wasn't allowed to sell fabric. But Vinted has started getting very competitive with eBay, and they're allowing you to sell all sorts of things. They're selling electronics, they're selling, they keep sending me things saying that they're now going to start allowing you to sell this, that, and the other. But I noticed that with the fabric, they are being a lot more, they're obviously letting you sell fabric now. So I have had fabric listed, not getting a great deal from it. I generally list on that one the fabric that I don't think is going to go for very much, because I'm only asking for something like £5 or £6 for it. And people on Vinted won't spend a lot of money. They often they'll offer you a price, and they'll maybe even knock it down £2 or £3. So not the best way. But if you want to get rid of it fast, yes, it's a good way to get rid of it. This is partly why I've been making the dresses, because I find that I sell the dresses faster than I do the fabric. So I enjoy making the dresses, and because, as I've said, I did a batch of 8 and they make up nicely. I'll wear them maybe once. Some of them I might not wear at all, or not because I don't want to wear them, because I've got such a big wardrobe that I'd have to say. I mean, when his lordship saw that I'd made 8, he said, "Oh, are you going to sell them all?" And I went, "No." But I didn't want to sell them all. I don't want to, but then I have to be realistic about it. I have far too much clothes. So I figured that if I sell them as dresses, that what I did was I started selling dresses, and I've got certain people who follow me now because they like what I make, and they have the same figure as me. And I have shown them, like, with not with my head showing, but with the dress showing, and let them see what it's like on a normal figure. And these people have bought them, and I've sold them for about anything between £10 to £15. You won't get a great deal for them, but at least the dress will sell better than the fabric. But I've bought cheap fabric on Vinted. I have bought fabric. They've got some coming soon. I've just ordered some, and I got it for about £4. And when you see it, I just caught my eye. I'm hoping it's as nice in the flesh as it was on paper. But a blouse, I'll be telling you more about it. But I have just finished a blouse, which I mentioned at the start of this vlog, and I'll be putting into another one. I've just finished a blouse where I've used some fabric that I bought from Vinted, and it's turned out quite nice. So I think I've gone on a bit too long. I am going to stop there. I have just pulled out some more fabric, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm making, because tell you now, it's not as exciting. So I'm going to leave it, and hopefully in the coming weeks, I don't know how long it's going to take me for this one, because these are going to be slightly more complicated than the last batch. But I've got good intentions to clear quite a bit of my fabric stash. I just pulled out some more fabric that I'm not going to show you yet, just a sneak peek. There's some there. Um, there's quite a few. I've pulled out about 4 or 5, and I'm going to batch sew again, fingers crossed. But this time it's going to be something different, because this isn't stretch fabric. This is like a polyvisc. It's a viscose. So I'm going to make some more dresses. And well, I'm not going to tell you yet, because I think it'll be nice for it. It'll be a nice surprise for you to see in one of the coming vlogs. So I'm going to love you and leave you and catch you next time.